Hello, everyone, and welcome to Webinar Wednesday. I am going to give it just a minute to get a few more people joining, and then we're going to start. All right, let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Webinar Wednesdays with Mint Group. I'm Sugeshni Subrayan, Head of Marketing. And this is a monthly dive into all things tech, from the latest coming out of the Microsoft stable to industry trends and challenges, and how technology can help you and your business stay ahead of the curve. So there are many challenges facing UK manufacturers: Brexit, global supply chains, and tech turbulence. I'm sure that all sounds familiar, but today we're going to talk about addressing some of your tech challenges with a solution called Proactive Discover. Think of it as a secret weapon to tackle all of these challenges head on. So in this webinar, we'll show you how Proactive Discover can help you streamline your operations, boost efficiency, and stay ahead of the curve. As always, please make use of the Q&A feature, and we'll ensure that all of your questions are answered by the end of the session. Great, so I hope you have a fresh cup of tea or coffee. Let's get started. And please note that this webinar is being recorded. I will hand over to our panel of speakers, Samantha Barrett, Catalina Cadell, and Paul Speed. Over to you guys.
Thank you, Sue. Hi, everyone. So just by way of introduction, so my name is Samantha Barrett and I head up Mint UK. I've been in the Dynamics space now for about 13 years, and I've done lots of implementations, AX 2012, D365 across the financial industry, manufacturing, and professional services. And I've been with Mint Group now for 2 years, and it's been exciting, and I'm really looking forward to giving you an overview of our Proactive Discover methodology today. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Catalina Cadell. I'm a senior finance consultant at Mint. I've joined Mint over a year ago, and I've been in the Dynamics world for over 5 years now. My background is business analyst, so I have a good understanding of systems as well as processes, and I always like this mix because it's good to have everything around the processes. It's nice to meet you all. Thank you for joining.
Good afternoon, guys. Paul Speed. I'm fairly new to Mint, but I have 30 plus years of supply chain experience and transitioned from early days in supply chain right through to senior management and then into systems. So got on board with various ERP systems and primarily lately been with Dynamics. So hopefully the combination of the two will help support whatever your needs are in going forward with Mint.
Wonderful. Okay, so if I just give an overview of Mint Group and what we do, because I'm sure there's some people on the call that don't know much about us. So just to start, we are a full stack partner. So we offer everything across the Microsoft stack, from ERP, D365 implementations, right across to AI. We have our own AI business and we're extremely proficient in Copilot. And we also offer consultancy and implementation in CRM. And we also have a managed services practice as well. So we have the capability to deliver everything. And actually the Proactive Discover methodology is something that allows us to analyze all elements of the Microsoft stack, not just finance and operations, even though there's quite a heavy focus on that today. So in terms of our accolades, so an important one to note is that we are a 6 solution designation partner. And the result of having all 6 means that we also obtain the 7th, which is the top Microsoft Cloud designation that you can see there at the top of the screen. And this is really important for customers because it is not a passive accolade. So there used to be something called a gold partner status. That was something that was handed out, and a partner was able to obtain that without doing much in the way of keeping on top of their various bits of certifications throughout the year. However, in order to maintain these designations, we have to keep on top of certifications, and we also have to continuously grow our referenceability in all of the markets that we operate. So that's an assurance that we are proficient in the stack that we offer, and we also know everything about the latest trends within Microsoft and the capability that Microsoft offers. In terms of additional awards and accolades, we do a lot outside of implementation and consultancy. We've won various awards in HR, Women in IT, and we've also got a Microsoft Content AI Partner Award, which means that we work very closely with Microsoft in terms of providing training for Copilot, which is a relatively new feature to the stack, but we have been on the journey with Microsoft since its inception, really. So we're very well versed in that. And again, Copilot and AI is something that we build into the proactive discover methodology, and it's something that we consider as we move along the proactive process as an element that we might implement to basically improve your ERP process and your operations. Just in the way of accolades, actually, just to supplement the designations that we had on the previous slide there. So we are an Inner Circle member, and we have been for the last 9 years consecutively, and we've just been awarded that again, which again is really important because it means that we have direct access and an influence on how the Microsoft product is shaped based on what our customers demand and what we're seeing in the market. Okay, and over to Paul.
Thanks, Sammy. So yeah, as Sammy has said there, we are experts in this field. We have the tools, the skills, the people to help you. But I think what's important as well is we need to understand what your challenges are. It's easy to be sitting outside and saying we can help, but if we don't understand what's impacting your businesses at the moment, then we're not going to be as good as we could be. And this is where we have this crossover of not just myself, the people across the Mint business who can help understand what your challenges are and turn them into opportunities and take it forward with the Microsoft tools at hand and the skills of our team, but also help skill your teams. This is about helping you to address the challenges. It's not just coming in and fixing problems. So if we move forward on the overview of the current manufacturing challenges as we see them. So I've kind of been out and looked across the world. What are the big manufacturing challenges affecting companies at present? And obvious ones. So digital transformation. Everyone needs to be on board with this, and otherwise they're going to get left behind. And this is one of our key areas. So we can help you move forward with your digital transformation needs. We also have then traceability within your manufacturing facilities, and this is traceability of your components, your ingredients, and also traceability of your products going forward. So how can we help you maintain and find that traceability and keep it, because a lot of this has to be reported, and for an incident you need that full traceability capability to be able to deal with those issues. The competition and market dynamics, you've got a lot of competitors out there who you want to try and keep track of. You want to understand what's going on in the current market. How do you become top rather than chasing the competition all the time? Risk and resilience management, again, we can help with our systems, with our knowledge, the risks for your business, and help you become more resilient to those risks. And how do we keep you efficient and moving forward? Cost management and efficiency. Now obviously Catalina is more on the financial side than me, But I'm aware that, what you guys are doing, you want to do it as cost effectively as you can, but also make sure that you're keeping on top of your outputs and your needs. Then the next three these are the big ones currently as global manufacturers are seeing this. These are the top three: workforce and talent. This isn't just about how you get workforce and how you get talent; it's also how you keep it. So how do you keep your workforce engaged and upskilled to enable you to be successful and to stop them moving on to a competitor, for instance? Environment and sustainability. We're all on board with that one. We have to be. You need to report on it to authorities and local governments and even global governments. You need to be aware of what is your impact on the environment and the sustainability plans. What can you do and what do you have to do? And supply chain disruptions. These are, recent times have shown how fickle some of our supply chains have been at times, because we've never had to face such complex challenges as we have in recent years. And again, we're looking at, what can we do with the tools and skills to support you to help overcome those challenges. So for now, we'll go into some of those individual ones, and we'll look at the top three, which are the workforce challenges and the talent shortages. And what we're going to look at is what is called a smart factory solutions. Now, I don't know you guys personally on the call, so I don't know how aware you are with any of this. So I'm just going to kind of go it from a basic angle. So a smart factory, worldwide shortage, the worldwide manufacturing industries, these are the three things they've identified as helping them overcome the current challenges. So investing in talent is an obvious one. Yeah, we'd all like to bring in more skilled people to help us overcome these challenges. Collaboration with educational institutions, so working with universities and colleges, bringing on more and more apprenticeships, that kind of thing. That's also up there. But the biggest one they're looking at is embracing technology. And this is where we come into helping you get that technology. And in that embracing technology, again, there are subsections. What they're looking at is the industrial metaverse. So this is where you can have things like digital twins. This is working in a virtual environment and looking at creating copies of your sites, your machinery. So rather than do real life and real time assessments, which may cost you downtime, you can actually do this virtually. That way, production continues as it is, and your assessment work carries on to the side. Wearable technology, more and more of us are having things that we wear or we carry to help us on our day-to-day business. But again, 86% of those people looking at help to move forward with these challenges are looking at a smart factory solution. And what smart factory solutions bring are connected devices. So your handhelds, your machines, everything connected together so everything is working effectively. Predictive maintenance. So rather than have a schedule where we maintain this machine every 6 weeks, we let AI and the tools that Microsoft has do that assessment for you and say, actually, you need to be maintaining this machine every 4 weeks, or maybe you don't need to maintain it every 6 weeks. It could be every 10 weeks. It will look at all the data and your records and outputs and tell you what it feels you should be doing. And again, that's saving you downtime, making you more effective. Data-driven decisions. So as you know, every business has tons of data. If it's not in one place and connected, it's very difficult to make decisions. You have to drag in things from all kind of locations. Well, if you've got your data linked in from places like ERP and you're using tools like Power BI and you've got data lake, then those decisions, again, with the use of maybe AI, you don't have to, but maybe, then those can make more informed decisions for you. Advanced technology is advancing all the time. We don't know next year what's going to be new. There could be some new thing on the block. You need to be onto it, and this is where we come in again at Mint, because we're ahead of the game. We're seeing these things before you do, so we can be priming you for what's coming. And automation and flexibility, we're seeing that everywhere in manufacturing, with the use of robots, automated processes, making work more flexible. And I've just put a little statement there as overall, smart factories aim to improve efficiency, reduce costs, enhance product quality by seamlessly integrating the physical and digital worlds, allowing for workforce talent, and this is an important one, to develop and flourish while increasing the efficiency and profitability of the manufacturing. So your efficiency and profitability doesn't come at a cost of your workforce. They go hand in hand with the solutions that we provide. I have just clicked and it's not moved on. Give me a second. So smart factories, so these are the kind of fundamental building blocks of a smart factory: AI and machine learning. So these are technologies that will optimize your production processes, predict your maintenance needs, and improve your quality control. All key components in manufacturing, you have to have those. IoT, so you're in, and in terms of industry, you have IIoT, which is your industrial Internet of Things. So this is your connectivity between your machines, your devices, real-time data collection and analysis, and this helps monitor your machine health, your tracking production metrics, and also ensures seamless operations. Digital twins, I referenced this earlier. This is the virtual world where you can make your copies of machines, production outlets, etc. Predictive maintenance, ERP. So obviously Microsoft D365 ERP. That's somewhere that can bring all of your processes together, and then if you have an integrated business process world in your business, that is going to make something so much easier to deal with. It's going to keep your people connected, keep your sites around the world globally connected. It means the flexibility of people doing standard things in a system in the same manner wherever you are, means the flexibility for if you lose some workforce for a particular reason, there is no reason why that cannot be dealt with in a different location, because everyone's working in the same way and in the same methods. So EMS is your energy management software. So again, we go back to sustainability and in the environment. You need to be monitoring your energy usage, and these solutions will help you not just achieve your targets, but they'll provide cost savings for you, because you can make more informed decisions on where you use energy, where you get it from. And then cobots. So these are co-working robots. So basically you've got your workforce working alongside robots. So the robot is there not to replace somebody, it's there to do the more repetitive functions, while your workforce can get on with doing the more skilled elements of the business, and providing you with real good feedback on where you can make improvements. Those are all solutions that can be provided by the Smart Factory. Just put a couple of slides up here around the modules of Microsoft Dynamics, so you can take a look at those. I won't read them out. And also looking at Microsoft Fabric. So what's included in there around data, real-time intelligence, Power BI, a single data foundation, etc. Again, I'll let you take a read of that rather than talk through just what's on screen. So in terms of smart factories, we also need to have the integrations within those smart factories. And sorry, my mouse has just gone a bit funny. Yeah, so it's jumping all over the place. Sorry, I apologise for this. This is what trying to take control does. So within the integrations, you obviously have horizontal integrations. So this is where you're connecting your machines on the shop floor, engineering processes, to make sure all your equipment works together effectively and seamlessly. You have end-to-end. So this is your end-to-end supply chain, supply to customer kind of integration. So data flows not only from your supply base, but through to your customer base and right through your manufacturing sites as one seamless integrated process. Vertical. So vertical means where you have your horizontal running across your shop floor, vertically you want that information to move up. Sorry, I've got a message on screen. Vertically you want that information to move up to your management structure so that everyone is aware of what's going on and decisions at a higher level can be made to support that shop floor environment. And then data management systems speaks for themselves. We all need our data to be in a good condition and in a good place to be able to not only access it but use it for our analysis. We touched on supply chain disruptions earlier, and I just wanted to highlight that we know the kind of things you're going through at the moment, and these are where we want to support you. So everyone knows about COVID. Wherever you were in the world, everyone is aware of it, and everyone knows we are now recovering from it. It feels like a long time ago, 2020. It's only 4 years, and we're still seeing the effects on our supply chain. Geopolitical unrest, we're seeing this on the news every day. Well, this is impacting, some of our suppliers and our customers are in those regions. How do we handle those? What do we do to ensure we get our materials that we plan, and using ERP, using some of the data modeling, using AI, we can make some predictions, we can plan ahead so that these things should have a lot less impact on us. We're not going to get it perfectly correct because we don't know what's coming. But if we put plans in place now using the tools and the people that we have and the support Mint can give, we can hopefully mitigate quite a lot of that. Labour demands, we touched on that before, not just about obtaining labour and keeping labour. This is making sure the workforce you have is happy and integrated with your business. Energy shortages, again, we all understand the impact that some of these previous elements have had on energy and where there are shortages and what's happening to resolve those. Well, within the Microsoft world, that there are ways of using within the ERP system, for instance, there is an energy dashboard that can be used that can help to again track and give solutions for this. Cost of living and inflation, again, we all understand that people haven't got as much money to spend, affecting our customer base, and things that we want to buy in our supply chain and our procurement teams have increased in cost. So how do we plan for that? And again, ERP and the other tools can help with that. Extreme weather. So extreme weather is impacting everybody, and it's not just about there are storms. There's sorry, this mouse has gone crazy. What's going on? Just bear with me a second while I. Better. Thank you. Thank you for your patience. It's technology. Just what we're talking about. So, extreme weather. We've got, some of the absolute things we see are flooding, it's storms, but also there are local impacts of this. And if we look at China, for instance, so China at the moment, a lot of their product flows down the Yangtze River to get out to the world. But the Yangtze River currently, over the past few years, is running somewhere around 50% lower in level than it has previously. What this is doing means we can't load ships as much as we did. Ships have to sit higher in the water. That means there is less freight on a ship. That means there's more shipments. You need to be aware of that and plan around it, so that one ship now isn't going to bring all of your products. It may take 2, 3, 4 ships. You can plan that again with our systems and with our help. Also, in Germany, there's the Rhine is running at record low levels, and again, that's affecting what can be shipped. So all of these things can be known and can be predicted, and AI and our tools, ERP, etc., can help you with those. And then unexpected events. The Suez Canal was an obvious one. So in 2021, the Suez Canal blockage, $50 billion worth of trade was held up for 6 days. That's huge, and nobody saw it coming. But what if you could help plan and predict such events, and what your solutions would be, and put plans in place for disaster plans, such as those to do those. Again, something the system can do for you. I'm not going to read through this. This is sustainability and environmental regulations, but these are the challenges. So pressure to adopt, drivers and legislative measures, and I've just listed some of those there. I put up there the past 26, which is the carbon neutrality verification. So I'm sure that anyone who's dealing with the environmental impacts in your business will know this, all the 3 different scopes that we have to adhere to help with this. And again, so within the Microsoft suite of products, we can help with this. We can help, again, put some of this into your system so you understand it and you understand the impact of it, and also the AI implication of what should we do, what's the best approach for this. And this isn't just about meeting targets. As I put at the bottom, it's a better place for us in our future. Most businesses want to go beyond. They don't just want to tick boxes. They want to go beyond and help, because this isn't just about helping our business. This is about helping everyone globally and our families. And I'll read this because it's just a statement I've got. It's, while Mint and Microsoft are not going to resolve every issue that'll come your way, and there will be some local ones, imagine if the skilled support and tools we have and can provide can help you achieve 95% plus. That's huge. We're not going to say we're going to solve every single problem, because you'll have local problems that we won't fully understand, but will become to understand. But through D365, through our ERP systems, and through the use of the Microsoft stack and our suite of products and the skills within our team, we can help you prepare yourselves for whatever challenges you have coming, at the same time tackling your current ones. I do see there's a Q&A. There's a question. Are we doing those now, or are we doing it at the end? I'm not too sure.
We're doing at the end, Paul.
Okay, thank you. So
Okay.
I'm going to hand over now for Sammy to talk around our proactive tool, which will help you identify all of these things.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Paul. I think before I launch into this, I've got quite a few slides on what the proactive offering is. I'm going to be quite fluid between the slides because actually I don't want to just speak to each slide. They all offer kind of a holistic view of what it is. If we look at typical technology implementations and particularly ERP implementations, it's normally a case of a business attending a bunch of analysis and design workshops and a system being built based off as is requirements. And I've done lots of these implementations. There are common themes to some of the challenges that businesses face, regardless of industry. But one of them tends to be that actually the business ends up building a solution which actually is based on their current operations and it's not optimized in any way and it's not built to allow that company to grow and to meet its objectives. And there are tons of other challenges as well, particularly in the way of resourcing. So businesses aren't typically aware of the amount of effort that they have to second to a project to make it a success. And obviously that changes by phase, but that's always something that poses a challenge to the success of a project, and also around the costing and the estimate. So typically there is a project plan and a timeline drawn up, an indicative plan, and that normally gets rebaselined once the design is a bit more known. And what tends to happen is that cost will increase. And if it doesn't increase, it will tend to be followed by a lot of CRs as we approach the deployment. So Proactive Discover is actually a pre-implementation methodology which addresses the majority of those issues. And there are two flavors of it. There's one called Proactive Discover and there's Proactive Discover Plus. And the use of it really depends on where the business is in their implementation journey. Some businesses are at the point where they're not quite sure whether D365 is a good fit for their business and they just want to know what the fit is before they proceed in taking that to the board to justify an ERP implementation, or if they want to compare it against a competitor tool such as NetSuite or a SAP. Or there are some businesses that are aware that D365 is a good fit, and what they actually want to do is move forward and redesign their underlying to-be business process before they go into the implementation. So it's a change management tool. There are also other businesses which have existing D365 implementations, and they know that they could be using the standard D365 stack much more efficiently, in which case the Proactive Discover methodology allows us to optimize that process and essentially mean that we are able to reduce customizations and we're able to reduce activity outside of the system, and we really get the ERP system working for them, which is always a benefit because, as you know, ERP is expensive, and not just the licensing but the maintenance of an ERP system, and actually the implementation itself, not just from a direct cost but actually having people involved from the business and taking them away from their BAU activity. So the two flavors of Proactive, and I'm going to take you through both of those today. So if you look at the first one, Proactive Discover, not Discover Plus, this is really for a business that understands what their current business requirements are, and they're able to access our Proactive tool and complete their business requirements online. That then allows us to produce a document which marries the requirements to D365 and give us a percentage fit. And this is broken down by the priority of requirements as well. So we're able to show what the fit is of those requirements to D365 by must, should, could, and would requirements. That allows us to also pick out a few areas that we know might be optimized. So there might be a gap to the standard system. We might know of a process change based on our experience in the industry and how other businesses do it. Or we might know of an ISV that's a really good fit for that gap. So again, so that we're moving the customer closer to the standard product without having to customize the solution. What it also means is that we're able to get, in a matter of weeks actually, just a couple of weeks, we're able to get a really good indication of what the cost and timeline of that implementation would be if the customer was to move forward and implement the solution as per the functionality in that document that our tool produces. And it'll give an indication, of course, of how long that'll take. We're also able to answer what the licensing structure is likely to be based on the number of users and, again, the indicative cost of that. So that's a really quick win, I guess. It's done in a matter of weeks. There's a lot of information that comes out the back of it. It allows a business to justify an ERP implementation. It gives a really good indication of what the financial outlay is, and it gives a really good indication of what the outlay is for a business in terms of doing that implementation. So if I just move through some of these slides, I'm not going to repeat what I just said there, but it's an automated tool, as I mentioned. It's an application online. So everybody who is a stakeholder to a potential project would complete the survey online and capture requirements across the different functional areas. And we'd be able to see via a very comprehensive dashboard what the requirements are and the fit of those to the standard product. And again, as I mentioned, it produced some pretty in detail information on licensing costs, project costs, etc. So the benefits are quite obvious, really. To arrive at this information, typically you'd expect to see what a lot of partners term a discover phase. And it would normally take kind of 12 weeks, dependent on the complexity and size of the business. We're able to arrive at this proactive discover output in a matter of weeks, as I say, which is quite powerful. And as I say, it feeds in very nicely to the tender process. So if you're looking to go out to tender and select a partner for a particular implementation, it gives you all the information that you need to make sure that the RFP is accurate and the responses you receive are what you require for your implementation. Okay, so just to reiterate the 5 steps to that process. So there'll be an onboarding session where we give you all the detail around what our tooling is online. You would nominate business process owners actually to complete that survey, and you do that offline, but the consultant would be available as well to give you information if you require. We'd then review that information, set up a workshop to take you through all of the analysis that we found and hand over that comprehensive document for you to use as you wish. And that is in a matter of weeks, as I mentioned. Another thing to note as well is that actually the principle of this is based on something called Microsoft Catalyst. So there is funding available, and it does depend on eligibility and lots of other criteria, but we've had a lot of success with that with customers, and that always helps in justifying this engagement as a pre-implementation activity. Okay, now I want to move on to Proactive Discover Plus, which is where I believe most customers see the benefit, and actually it ties in very nicely to what Paul was speaking about before in terms of challenges in the manufacturing industry. So as opposed to starting a project and just using as-is requirements to build a piece of technology, what Proactive Discover Plus attempts to do is to redesign an underlying business process so that the technology is business-led, but that underlying business process takes into account lots of factors, such as industry challenges, such as the objectives and strategy of a business, that we make sure we're building something that actually fits those objectives and is composable and grows with a business. And it also means that we are able to include other elements of the Microsoft stack and show the enterprise architecture of how that would potentially look before we go anywhere near the implementation. One, I suppose, byproduct of all of this is that running this engagement and running a Proactive Discover Plus is typically anywhere from kind of 6 to 8 weeks, again, dependent on the complexity of the business. Running this engagement means that you've got all senior stakeholders and wider business who would be involved in the implementation involved up front. So they're actively involved in designing the 2B business process. And as a result, you can see a shift in mindset before we go anywhere near the analysis and design workshops. That we're running those workshops, all requirements are based on this new 2B state. So that's a really pretty fundamental output of this, actually. And one of the things that we do at the end of the Proactive Discover Plus implementation is we will play back that new 2B process by value stream. So it's day in the life of, it's very applicable to certain business roles. and we play it back as a storyboard, and we get everybody to give us a thumbs up that they're comfortable with that as a day-to-day use, and we get that signed off before we then start to put together some deployment plans to really firm up the cost and the estimate of implementing the technology on top of that. So if I just pull out some of the steps that are additional to just the standard proactive discover, you would still receive the comprehensive document, as I mentioned, which would show the fit to standard D365. We would then go into something called an Envision workshop, and this is really blue sky thinking, and it's strategic. So it's totally system agnostic. It's much more around where do you want your business to be in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time? What are some of the challenges that you face? What are some of the opportunities? So this is where we have a lot of discussions around things like we want to grow by acquiring new businesses, for example, or we want to enter a new market, we want to adjust our supply chain. And we make note of all of that, and we have some really good collaborative discussion between us. We then take that information and we take them into something called solution assessment workshops. Now, the solution assessment workshops are much more tightly bound to the D365 solution. So we will deliver these by value stream. If we're talking about a manufacturing customer, then it'd cover finance and operations. We'd run those sessions and really deep dive into some of those exceptional areas where we know we need to redesign process and where we know the customer faces challenges at the moment. And ultimately, the output of that is a redesigned 2B business process around level 1 or 2. So it's somewhat detailed. And we hang that together end to end before playing that back to the business. Some of the more commercial discussions that come out the back of this, so when we have agreement on what the end-to-end 2B process looks like, again, we have very collaborative discussions around what a phase 1 might look like. So we have a gold standard end-to-end process, and there are some areas more than others that we know we can deliver either quickly and it offers a lot of value, or if it's not quick, we provide the business value assessment as to why that should actually be delivered and what benefits you can expect to receive. Once we've got agreement on what that scope looks like, we then move forward into a deployment pack. So taking all of that information and producing a really comprehensive end-to-end project plan, program plan, and that contains not just partner resource, but also customer resource, which is something that I think is worth its weight in gold pre-implementation, because it shows exactly what roles are required and to what extent and what capacity is required in order to make sure the implementation is a success. We wrap some commercials around that and we present it back with some what-if scenarios and some options around, well, actually, if we wanted to introduce another piece of functionality, even if it's phase 2, so it might be something like demand planning, which is a bit more data-driven, data-centric, and has a lot more overhead in terms of implementation, cost and time. We might have discussions around, well, actually, we want to move this in now, what's the impact to the end-to-end plan? And we have discussions back and forth around that. So it's really comprehensive. It stands a business in really good stead before they go near an implementation. And it also means that the project plan that's produced is far more accurate than from a typical discovery phase, which means that you're de-risking the implementation in terms of timeline slippage and in terms of cost increase. So I'm not going to reiterate some of these benefits, because I think we spoke about that at length there. What I want to do is just move on to some of the workshop outputs. So Catalina, I'll hand over to you.
Sure, thank you, Sammy. So if we stick with the Proactive Discover Plus, we can see that there is quite a lot of benefits and a lot of good outcome following these stages. So as Sammy was saying, we have the survey, which is, I see it as a stage 1. We then have envisioning workshops, which is the stage 2, and then solution assessment, which for me is the last stage, right? They all have a very important role in the overall playback, right? As we're not only delivering this solution analysis document, as you see in the slide, there's an example where you can find information about all your requirements, what's been marked as must, should, could, or will not. And I actually learned of a really good analogy for must, should, could, and will not. So think about it as a car. for it to drive and to be in good state, you need to have the engine, the seats, and the steering wheel. So that would be your must. Then in terms of the indicators and a honk, for example, this can be marked as a should, right? But then the indicator is more important than the honk. I know we like to make sure that no one messes with us, but it's not as important as the indicators, right? So it's when we're talking about MVP, so minimum viable product, we're looking at all the musts and most of the shoulds, right? And then a could is a nice to have. So for example, if I stick with the car example, it could be heating in the seats. So it's not necessary, but if we can have it, it would be good to have it. So that could be looked at as part of the phase 2 implementation, right? So this is the solution analysis document, very long document, plain full of information. But most importantly, what we do after going through those 3 stages, the survey, the envisioning workshops, and the solution assessment workshops, we put everything together and we create a global to-be business process flows and an enterprise architecture. What we mean by that is that during these workshops and the discussions that we have, we're not focusing only on the processes that you have in your ERP system. We're looking beyond that, right? Because if we want to stay ahead of the line with what we know and our knowledge and expertise, we want you to be in the same position in your field, in your area of expertise, right? So we want to make sure that your processes run smoothly and efficiently from the beginning until the end. So what we're doing, we're making good use of the whole Microsoft stack. So we could be talking about creating your own applications to suit your certain processes. For example, we have done this for one of our customers. We created an application in Power Platform to help with the creation of the vendor accounts. So all the information with the details, certificates, and everything can be stored in the application, the Power Platform application. And then on the back of that, once the approval goes in, your supplier gets created in the system and it's placed on hold until you deem for it to be active. This is an example, but we're working together with everything that Microsoft can offer so that we make sure that you get the best of the best, basically. Also, I think it's important to mention that these business process flows that we will be presenting back to you need to be looked at as a set of opportunities. So I know it's a small example. The screenshot is not very clear, but what we do is we present you with the options. There's not just one way of doing whatever process you're doing, right? So we make sure that we capture all that information so that when you take that away and you analyze these processes, and then we work together on making that deployment plan that Sammy was talking about, we make sure that that's accurate and it's based on what you actually need and want. And of course, the phasing of the implementation is being discussed, and it can be seen during this global to be business process flow as well. So what we're doing is we're using level 1 and 2 of the to be end-to-end business process flows, which gives you a high-level process, and it helps because in this way we can standardize and create a template across all your legal entities. We've had customers like ABFI or Gripple, for example, big customers. They are across the globe, numerous locations, numerous legal entities. So what we do is we identify a template and then we build upon that. And we stick with level 1 and 2 because it's easier to follow the flow of the end-to-end process. Of course, when it comes to going to tasks and activities, so level 3, 4, 5, for example, in the business process flow, there may be different ways of doing the same thing, but the end goal for us is for both us and you to see that we're reaching the same point. And it is still a template. It's a standardized solution, which helps you reduce cost. It helps you with your resources. You will have better control of your systems, but as well as the processes. If you can go to the next slide, please. yeah, this is what Semi was talking about. At the end of the engagement, you will benefit of a comprehensive implementation pack. I'm not going to go through it again. And yeah, I think that is mainly it. If you go, yes, yeah. So we had, regardless, I'm going to say one thing, regardless of the industry that you're in, of course, we have the Center of Excellence, Manufacturing Center of Excellence here in the UK, but whatever the industry that you are in, there is definitely a benefit for you to go through the Proactive Discover. If it's either Proactive Discover or Proactive Discover Plus, you will definitely get some benefits on the back of it. We've had engagements with various companies, professional services, media and events. So anything can be worked out through the Proactive Discover engagement. Thank you.
Thank you, Kat. I just want to add to the end of that, actually. So what Kat's just presented there in terms of business process maps, it is a foundation to then take forward into the implementation. So if you see the way that they're broken up by value stream, these are typical value streams and actually advocated by Microsoft. So what you would do is you would take these underlying to-be processes, and then when you approach an implementation, you would hang system requirements off the back of these, and you would also keep up to date these to-be processes at a much more granular level. And that, combined with your requirements, is your solution document, if you like, and it's a living document. And again, that is something that's always a downfall of an implementation. Normally you get a solution design document which is put together after design and it's not maintained. This is a living document that sits alongside tools such as ADO. So I just wanted to add that in at the end there, and to emphasize the fact that it is, as I say, Microsoft advocated in terms of value streams, and it's something that a lot of partners use. So regardless, if any Proactive Discover customer was to move forward with Mint to do the implementation, this can be used by any partner to build upon for the technology. Thank you. I think we've got some questions, have we? Q&A.
Doesn't look like we've got any questions in the Q&A.
Oh, I thought a question popped up. I thought Paul said there was a question.
No, it was just me prompting people to ask a question.
Right. I'm pretty sure if anyone has any questions following this, they can get in touch and we can arrange to come back to you on anything.
Yes, without a doubt. Sammy, do we want to move on to the next slides or? Okay.
I think that's the end of it too. Obviously got some referenceability as well, so these slides will be made available with the webinar, I believe. But as I say, it is something that produces a lot of value and a lot of output in a pretty short space of time. So yeah, any questions, feel free to get in contact directly with any of us, or obviously you can pop some details on this chat and we'll get in touch with you.
Wonderful. So could we maybe just move on to the last slide there before we close? Great. Thank you everyone for joining us today. If you'd like to attend our webinar Wednesday next month, we will be talking about developing a generative AI strategy for your organization. And we all know Gen I is all the buzz. So it's happening on October 9th, and we've put it in the chat window there if you'd like to pick up that link and register. Thank you all for joining us and have a lovely day further.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.